So yeah, there's 100 videos online of doing the front brakes on these vans and the pickup trucks, GMC, Chevrolet. But interestingly, I didn't see any on the rear brakes. And I actually think that they're more difficult than the fronts, because the fronts you can move the wheel to where you want it to be. It's good? Yep, it's good. Alright, I don't know if you can see any of that, but here's what we're dealing with here. See this piece right here? You got it right, Rich. This piece right here, it's a little narrow piece. You have to actually hold that to get the nut off, or the screw off the back, or the bolt. And because of the way the casting is and how thin that piece is, it's a little bit tricky. I don't remember seeing those on this particular type of GM product before, but be aware of it, because if you just try to unbolt this without holding that, it just spins and spins. Now why I can't go all the way like this and hold it on the frame, I don't know. Oh, I see what's happening. The body of the thing doesn't want to do that. Yeah, there's definitely Loctite or something in there. What's the WD? I got it now. And these got some sort of white coating on them. Some sort of white Loctite. And then this piece should just come straight off with a little wiggling. There's her squeaking. Set that up out of the way where it won't fall. And then we can take these off. And these are just 19mm, and there's just 2 bolts back there. You don't have to hold anything. You just have to get them off. And since I can't get an impact back there, I'll have to use percussion. Let me go ahead and pull one of these out so I can show you what it looks like. And it's not in my way. So you can see that flat, real thin flat. Besides that, and the other thing that I'm going to show you, these are pretty much like the fronts. I've turned that bolt. I've had to have turned that bolt. That one's loose. What's the problem there? The bolt's turned. Round it off. It's possible I did it, but I think it was already that way because it was not moving. It was doing this to begin with. You have one. Do you have a gripper socket?
Yeah, but every time I've used one, goes in play.
Oh. Well, maybe an 18. Might be able to pound an 18 on it. Yeah, they put this on with something. Get the bar in there. If I had a lever, I could move the world, right? So, leverage and a funky socket that grips. And it either moved or I broke it, so we'll see. It moved.
So that's the first time one of those sockets have done it worth a shit.
Hey, it worked. In my opinion, it was worth the price of the socket set for this one bolt.
Yep. I imagine about 15 seconds of heat would have
Yeah, that
made that much easier.
was going to be my next. But it's hot enough out here. I'd rather stay away from the heat if we can. Okay. There we go. Oh boy, you really cut this one. That looks like my lathe work. Man, that's your squeaking.
Yep.
For sure. Okay, so this is the other interesting part about these rear brakes. You see this band here. It's a horseshoe brake, parking brake, and it is actually just a big spring that just comes off and on. You know, the other one, all the parts were nice and loose, and you could just show them off. And of course, the one we decided to film is just a pain in the ass. This one's tighter than hell. Anyway, there we go. So you see it move there, and you can see the two sides of the horseshoe. And when you put the drum back on, or the drum slash rotor, you got to make sure that this.
There's an adjuster there.
Where?
Right there.
Well, you are correct, sir. It's all the way backed out, though. Backed in. Okay, so there is an adjuster. I didn't even think there was an adjuster on this thing.
But in this case, we didn't need to so far.
No, we didn't need to so far. It looks like the adjuster is actually all the way in.
And the shoes should be worn enough that the new.
Right, yeah, the shoes should be worn enough that, and we're not replacing the parking brake shoes. But that is just one solid piece. There's not two shoes there. There's just one horseshoe. Horseshoe brake shoe. Parking brake shoe. It's a kind of an interesting piece. I hadn't seen that before. Alright, so we'll put the new disc back in. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get this pushed in. So yeah, there's 100 videos on mine of doing the front brakes on these vans and the pickup trucks, GMC, Chevrolet. But interestingly, I didn't see any on the rear brakes. And I actually think that they're more difficult than the fronts, because the fronts you can move the wheel to where you want it to be. That's good. Yep, that's good. That's a good idea. Keep that plastic on there so I don't get my crap fingers all over it. Except I get the plastic squeezed between them. So we're going to try to get the rest off of here, and then I'm going to put a little bit of Go Juice if I can find it. That helps with squeaking behind on the hardware that we're going to put on in a second. Put that on both sides. And this came with the kit. Looks like a copper never sees. Got our new clips. They just sort of squeeze in. Like so. The other one on. Don't put it in upside down. You really can't put these things in upside down or backwards. You just only go in one way. And we'll take our pins, wipe them off, put some more netter C's on. Give it a nice smear. Put that right in. Make sure your rubber is secure. The other one, smear that. Put her in. Make sure you got nice movement, no binding. Make sure these rubbers are not cracked. See, on the fronts, you don't have to do this by feel so much, because you can turn the wheel. On the backs, you gotta kind of feel where your hole is. Find it and get it in. That ain't it. That's close. Okay, that started. Torque goes down tight, and then 3 hammer hits. That's my torque setting. New brake shoes. Put the bottom in. There. It's the same trying to do something for the camera. It takes longer than it is when you're not trying to do it for the camera. And then I'm going to grease the 2 pistons and the 3 prongs. And the back of the brake shoes. Alright, so smear on here, and smear on those 3. And then just basically bring it back on. Make sure you got your brake line right. Squeeze in your little pistons. Like so. And get your bolt started. And that's it. Tighten up these the same way you unloosen them and put it back together. Thanks for watching, and hopefully somebody got something out of that, because nobody ever shows the rears, so maybe it might give somebody confidence to realize that, you know, the rears aren't that much different than the fronts, but you do have to deal with the parking brake and maybe these little piston things. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.